Hello, peoples off the tube. Today I'd like to talk to you about Doctor Who. Because, here's the thing, right? Doctor Who is my favourite. I don't really make a secret of that, that's my favourite. It's been my favourite for well over half of my life now. It's just my favourite. I like Doctor Who. But at the moment, it seems that that's kind of a dangerous area to talk about. Some people aren't so keen on it right now. And that in itself, alright, fine. I don't mind. People don't like certain... I think that changes that much is inevitable that some people aren't going to like all of it. That makes sense enough. Some people are really, really angry about certain things that I'm not going to get into because that's not what this video is about. I like Doctor Who. I think Doctor Who is great. But there seems to be a bit of a thing, and I've been thinking about this recently, a thing of missed potential. We'll take this most recent series as the first example, because I think this is one that people seem to be picking up on, is that the finale, Series 11, Doctor Who. On the whole, I liked it. Some people did not. But I think most seem to agree, and again, not all, most would agree that the finale wasn't great. It seemed a bit disappointing. It seemed a bit of a missed opportunity. And yeah, it kind of was. We had a villain that was returning from the first story that didn't really come to do anything. Been built up kind of powerful menace. Didn't really do anything. He was a bit of a letdown after being brought back. So that was a bit of a shame. But the thing is, right, I feel like this is not the first time that this has happened. In fact, the more I think about it, it seems like Doctor Who just always, just by that little bit, just keeps missing out on being much better than it. I mean, it's great. You know, we've been through this. I like Doctor Who. I like it. But it just seems to happen quite a lot. Let's rewind a year earlier, right? Because, as I said, this isn't exclusive to the newest series. Peter Capaldi's finale. I was so stoked for the idea of the first Doctor coming back, meeting the current Doctor, multi-Doctor story. I love multi-Doctor stories. The first Doctor we haven't really had a proper appearance from since the 5 Doctors. I mean, obviously that's the last time we had the actual first Doctor was in the 3 Doctors. That was barely an appearance from him then. This isn't the real William Hartnell. We know that, but David Bradley looks a lot like William Hartnell. We loved him in Adventure in Space and Time, did we? Yes, I think generally we did. So this was going to be great. No, we'll just make him really sexist. Just not even in a funny, oh look at the past way. It's just an uncomfortable way. It just seems such a shame. I feel like Stephen Moffat did not like the first Doctor. So that seemed a bit of a shame, and then the story was just nothing. It was a nothing story. It could have been something really exciting. We could have had an actual plot, right? And the first Doctor being written well. I'd have loved that. I would have loved that so much. But no, we didn't get that. We got Twice Upon a Time. It was really disappointing. In fact, which one was it? Series 10? Yeah, Series 10, Capaldi's last series. A lot of the episodes, particularly early on, I think 10 was his strongest series. Again, this is subjective, of course. But throughout the early ones in particular, all of them just felt like they were missing something. They just seemed slightly undercooked. Some things happened, and then they were done. It's hard to put my finger on exactly what the problem was there, but the whole first half, and then some of the ones towards the end as well, the Eaters of Light was another example. I didn't not like it. It just felt like we needed more. That 3-parter with the monks, with 3 episodes of that, and yeah, it was okay, but let's go back a series further, Series 9. This hybrid story arc, that went nowhere. And worst of all, I loved Heaven Sent. It did everything for me. That was an episode that I liked a lot. and it came to the conclusion of that episode. He was on Gallifrey. He was back on Gallifrey. And then just nothing. Nothing. An episode of just nothing. It was a nothing episode. In fact, it wasn't even... A nothing episode would have been fine. The finale of Series 9 undid most of the good stuff from the previous 2 episodes. It could have been so good, and it just wasn't. Why? Why would you do this? Series 8, I was really excited. We had a new Doctor. It looked like he was going to be much darker. It just made him an asshole. Just made him into an asshole. And that's a shame, because I love Peter Capaldi's Doctor. Series 8, he was just an asshole. Series 9, they realised that they'd done that and made him too wacky. Series 10, he was about right, but then he was about done. Matt Smith's era, exactly the same problems over the 50th anniversary. I really enjoyed the 50th anniversary episode. I feel like it could have been a little more. I think having some more classic Doctors, just a little bit more. A little more. The bit where all the Doctors get together at the end. They had Peter Davison, Tom Baker, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann. They were all on set. We know this because they were filming the Fish Doctors, and Paul McGann was there for Night of the Doctor. They were there. Why not use them? Just for that scene. That would have been enough. Just a little bit more. But Stephen Moffat, his era of Doctor Who. Here's my issue with all of it. Series 5. The finale for it, in and of itself, I really like. I think Pandora Opens Big Bang is a good, solid adventure. There's a lot of fun in Part 2. Part 1 seems to be setting up something big that doesn't really happen, but that's fine because Part 2 is quite fun. But all this story arc with the cracks in time, it's not actually resolved. The Doctor fixes them, yeah, but the story is unresolved. So we'll finish that later. Put it to one side. Here comes Series 6, The Silence. And silence will fall. What's that? What are these eye patch people? We don't know. Comes to the conclusion, okay, we're these people. Okay, why are you doing that? You'll find out later. Okay, right, that's 2 things now. 2 things we don't know. And River Song, that was a waste of time. But also, all of this, apart from River Song, which we sussed halfway through Series 6, it was all, we'll deal with it later. Series 7, we just kind of mooch about with Clara for a while. And all of this stuff, there's a setup for flickering lights and eggs that never, they put the little clues in, and then they're like, actually, you know what, let's not do that. Let's leave the clues in, but just not do anything with it. And then they get to the end of Series 7, Matt Smith leaves, they're like, hold on, cracks in time, the silence. We haven't resolved that. They resolved it in just like 2 lines of dialogue. That's not a resolution, that's just brushing it under the carpet. Wasted potential. This is what I'm talking about. This is... I'm probably sounding a bit too wild. Let's rein it in. This is... It's a recurring problem in Doctor Who. Let's go back a bit further. Russell T Davies' era. I'm going to ruffle some feathers. David Tennant as the 10th Doctor is my least favourite Doctor. Okay? Right. Just let your anger out. It's fine. I don't hate him, but he is my least favourite. However, he had the potential to have everything I didn't like about him completely rectified if they'd stuck the landing. Because Waters of Mars took all the things that had kind of been bugging me about him. He's very arrogant. He seems to think that he's got... You know, we will see in the first episode where the Prime Minister is like the best Prime Minister they've ever had, and the Doctor disagrees with her moral choices, which, fair enough, they have a disagreement in moral viewpoints, that's alright. And then, so he intentionally ousts her from position, which of course, those that watched Torchwood might remember the Prime Minister that replaced her set up that child genocide like a year later in Torchwood Children of Earth. So well done, Doctor, you did a great job! But no, throughout he's like this. He's very, very smug. He's very full of himself, and he brushes everyone aside. And he is the most important person. He keeps giving us his credentials every 5 minutes. And Waters of Mars, suddenly he pushes it too far. He gets called out on it. He's like, no, you can't do this. No, and he realizes he's gone too far, and it sets us up for the next episode at the end of Waters of Mars. And I remember, how old was I at the time? 16, 17. I was so stoked for this. This is great. This is going to be so cool. Like, what's going to happen? Is he going to become a villain? 10th Doctor villain? I'd be all for that. No. This next episode, he's just back to jolly, merry Doctor. It's never addressed. It's never addressed. I mean, he mopes about it for a bit. He mopes for the whole episode. The end of time. It was a missed opportunity. All of these things, missed opportunities. Christopher Eccleston, his first series in Doctor Who. Well, his only series in Doctor Who. The first series of New Doctor Who. It was good. I liked it enough that it got me into the show. This is the point where I jumped on. But his finale, it was good. It's by far the best regeneration story we've had. That's not saying much. But half of it we spent doing Trini and Susanna, Davina McCall Big Brother, and The Weakest Link. Because that doesn't age badly at all. None of that is irrelevant 13 years later. Oh wait, no, all of it is irrelevant now. It's all irrelevant. No one knows who the flip Trini and Susanna are, and we're all the better for it. I feel like if we had 2 episodes of what we had at the end of the second episode, it could have been a lot better. If they'd done something a bit less of its time, and I don't know quite how you could change the episode to make it less dated, but I feel like it could have been. But for the most part, series 1 of New Doctor Who didn't have that issue. But let's not put on our rose-tinted spectacles here. This is not an issue that's exclusive to new series Doctor Who. Let's just take it back even further. Classic series Doctor Who. The Doctor Who I enjoy the most is very good at missing potential. Let's take a look. I mean, obviously, Sylvester McCoy's era, it was going somewhere very exciting, then it got cancelled. That's not really the show's fault, but it's still kind of disappointing that it just stopped. We're going somewhere, it's getting exciting, it's getting quite good. Nah, it's done. And the fact we only got like 4 stories a year, 12 total for McCoy, is really frustrating. I want more, and there just isn't more. Trial of a Time Lord. We're just going back in time gradually. Trial of a Time Lord. I really like Trial of a Time Lord. I think it's good. I think it's got a lot of good material in there. Colin Baker's Warmer Doctor is quite a pleasant transition from series 22 and very late series 21. It feels like he's naturally progressed there. It would have been nice to have had the original series 23, although by all accounts I've heard the stories aren't that great. But like the synopses sound good. Synopses? It's not synopsises. That's too many S's. But yeah, Trial of a Time Lord. On the whole, I really like it. The Robert Holmes Mysterious Planet bit, it's pretty good. The Varos sequel Mind Warp part, love it. Anything with Syl, I love Syl. And it's very dark. Perry's death, great. I love Perry, but any character that I like dying, I don't like it at the time, but it adds to the overall power of the piece. Terror of the Vervoids is fine. I know Chris Chibnall hated it. I thought it was fine. Quite like it. It's got that sort of Agatha Christie-esque murder mystery thing going on. But throughout this, we've got the trial stuff leading up to something. It's leading up to the fact that Valeyard, spoilers, right? If you haven't seen Trial and you don't want to know this, put your fingers in your ears for a second, turn the sound off. The Valeyard is the Doctor, right? Okay? Right, you can listen again. And that's good. That's a good twist. Part 1 of the last 2 episodes is quite exciting. It gets us all set up for something interesting. And then Robert Holmes went and died. And that's obviously, first of all, that's very sad. A very sad thing to happen. I think he was only like 50. He was very young. And he left his work unfinished. And Eric Sayward had a go at writing the episode that he was going to write, and the BBC didn't like it. And then they got Pip and Jane Baker to write just nonsense. They just wrote a whole page of nonsense. And it's such a nothing conclusion to what could have been a great story. And it just falls flat. Let's go further back, shall we? Actually, let's take a break from going further back. Because, and I've brought this up before, the one time I think Doctor Who actually just about hit it with the potential, and I know a lot of people aren't that keen. My friend Sewage, in particular, Peter Davison is like his least favourite Doctor. I think Peter Davison's run has the most concise and well executed arc of sort of thematic arc So let me just explain. I've explained this before in my underrated episodes video. I'll put a link to that here if you want to watch that. Anyway, yeah. So Peter Davison comes in. Optimism, cheery. We've had kind of a solemn, somber series in Series 18. So Series 19, it's all a bit more upbeat. It's a bit more fun. It's a bit more light. The Doctor and his young friends, and he's young and he's fresh and he's optimistic and he's playing cricket and everything's lovely. And then things start going badly. His companion gets infected her mind with a snake. They have to kill a bunch of pteroleptals in a very gruesome way. Tegan, like, totally smashes a pteroleptal to death. Which, incidentally, just a little tangent here. The Doctor getting up on her high horse in The Woman That Fell to Earth about, I forget the guy's name that kicked Tim Shaw off the crane. I said, you had no right to do that. Tegan, like, smashed a pteroleptal to death with a stick. And it wasn't even the one that had been bothering them. It was just another random one in the back of the room. I mean, I don't object to her doing that. She'd had a bad day. But, like, you can't be fine with that and then grump. Because Tim Shaw didn't even die from that. Tegan totally killed that pteroleptal. Anyway, so that happened. Adric's death in this grim and unpleasant Earthshock Cyberman adventure. Then Nyssa stays behind on this horrible space station of alien disease curing that's kind of hopeless and bleak. He gets a new companion that keeps trying to kill him. He has... What happens? The bumps into the Sea Devils and Silurians in one of the best Doctor Who stories ever, right? Warriors of the Deep. I'm standing by this. Great story. Everyone died. Literally, apart from that one guy in the Michael Jackson jumpsuit that disappears towards the end, everyone else dies. Every character dies. The Silurians, they all die. Everyone dies. And the Doctor's like, goat darn it, there should have been another way. He doesn't say goat darn it, but, you know, like, his optimism is being decimated by this grim universe he lives in. And then throughout that series, everything gets darker and grimmer. They've got Frontios, where Jeff Rawl is in it. Like, where did he come from? I've seen that story 3 times, and last time I watched it, suddenly Jeff Rawl is in it. Was he there the whole time? I don't know. But, yeah, that's a dark one. That's a kind of grim and dark. So the one before it, The Awakening, with just the malice, which is an embodiment of evil, but it's the evil within us, I think, is kind of the metaphor they're going with. Then we have a Dalek story where we have the highest death count of any story, and it's so bad that Tegan's like, you know, I'm done with this. Goat this noise, I'm out. I'm done. Too much death. Too violent. Too unpleasant. I am Mary Whitehouse watching series 14. I don't like it. I'm out. And the Doctor's like, oh, I've messed up here. Then he has to kill the Master and his robot companion Chameleon in the next story. And then he finally gets to this end point where he's in a situation where there is no one good. Everyone is bad. The situation is bad. There's no good side. And he's caught up in the middle of this war with drug running and gun running. And he's poisoned, and his companion that he's just met is poisoned. And he's just... everything's just turned out horrible for him. It's the ultimate sort of summation of everything that's been building up over the 3 series. And I love it. This is the thing. I love Caves of Androzani because everything before it feels like it leads up to that, and it feels like a good conclusion to all of those events. So that is the one true time, I think, where Doctor Who has fully met its potential. Because if we go back further, we've got Series 16, The Key to Time. I quite like The Key to Time. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I know a lot of people are kind of meh on it. I think it's a fun ride. Up until about The Androids of Tara. And then The Power of Kroll's a bit of a dud. And then we're on to the 6-part finale, which starts off fairly promising, and then kind of goes nowhere for 4 episodes, then goes somewhere else, which is also nowhere for the last 2 episodes. And we get... the Doctor has finally put together the Key to Time, and the White Guardian, these are more spoilers by the way, the White Guardian is like, give me the Key to Time. The Doctor's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to redisperse the Key to Time. I've just gathered it. Now it's all back scattered to the 6 winds. Bye! What was the point of any of that then? You didn't do anything. You spent a whole series getting this key For what? Nothing! It was so disappointing. Let's take a look. Let's go further back still. Doctor Who's Golden Age, depending on who you ask. The early Tom Baker period. I mean, it's strong. It's very strong. But a lot of the stories in that period had a theme where we'd have 4-part story. 3 episodes, great. Part 4, with Hand of Fear is a great example. The first 3 parts of Hand of Fear are wonderful. The bit with the quarry and the hospital, and then 2 episodes of the nuclear power plant. It's great. I love it. Those 3 episodes are fantastic. We've got Rex Robinson's there, Glyn Houston's there, both people that appear in other Doctor Who stories if you've got an eagle eye for this sort of thing. Elizabeth Sladen, it's her last story. Eldrad's really cool, the dancer woman that plays humanoid Eldrad, and the hand. It's great, I love that one. But then we have an episode where they're just messing around on Eldrad's planet, and it's really stupid and boring. And we're going to get more heretic here, because a lot of people like The Pyramids of Mars. It's a story that's popular. Batman March, famous YouTube Doctor Who fan, it's his favourite story. And that's fine, it's a good story. Episodes 1 through 3 are excellent. It's a great story. We've got that guy that's in Power of the Daleks, I forget his name. Michael Sheard's in it. You can't go wrong with Michael Sheard. Roberta Tovey from the Dalek films, her dad's in it. It's great. I mean, does it matter that these are the guest stars? Not really. No, I just thought I'd name drop some names. But episode 4 comes along. It's just the same episode as part 4 of The Hand of Fear. It's just, why are we doing this? It's really disappointing. It's very, very a letdown after all that we've been through. And like they solve the problem by just like locking Sutek in a Smarties tube and just pressing some buttons on a thingy that makes him get stuck in the Smarties tube. Okay, I guess. It's just a bit of a disappointment after all this build-up of really good stuff. Or let's go back another series before that. My personal favourite Doctor Who story of all time. If you've seen anything I've made Doctor Who related, I've probably mentioned it at some point. I love Genesis of the Daleks. I don't love it enough that I would have like 10 copies of it, but at the same time I do have about 10 copies of it. Genesis of the Daleks, my favourite story, yeah? But at the end of the story, we've got it's great. I love the tone. I love the idea of it. I love the pacing. Some people think it's a bit long. I don't. I don't mind the giant clam because it's in it for like 5 seconds. Who cares? I think all the cliffhangers are really solid. Even that silly one with the fake out ending where Sarah Jane falls off the outside of the tower and somehow lands inside the tower. I don't mind that. What I do feel a bit cheated on, we have the dilemma, do I have the right to destroy the Daleks? And it's kind of taken out of his hand in the end, which is good, because I don't think we always need a solid yes or no answer. But at the end, and Sarah Jane kind of brings this up in the story, they don't really achieve anything. All these things that they do, nothing really is changed. And in some ways that's good, because, you know, we need the Daleks, but at the same time, I don't know, it feels... I suppose if you look at it another way, of course, things did change. In the Doctor interfering in that way, before then, the Daleks were a very strong force of power. And after that, throughout the classic series anyway, they're entirely dependent on Davros, and they kept bringing him back. We'd never heard of Davros until then. And I like to think that in the original timeline, Davros died, permanently died, and the Doctor's presence made him doubt things enough that he set up something in his chair that his backup life... He mentions it in Destiny, his backup support circuits come into life or whatever. And I like to think that he made that so it would happen because the seed of doubt the Doctor had cast in his mind about the Daleks maybe being not great. And he's like, I don't know if I trust these guys. But despite that, you know, after that they're a lot weaker, a lot more feeble. There's not much threat to... I mean, obviously they're in threatening situations, but they never really do anything very much, apart from squabble amongst themselves for most of the 80s. But no, I feel like there's, at the end of Genesis, they leave. I mean, for the most part of the end of Genesis, their goal is just get out of here. But yeah, they don't really achieve much, and that's a shame because it's a great story otherwise. I think that's probably about as far back as I can think. I'm trying to think of anything from the first 3 Doctors that really fits this pattern of missed potential. But I think you get what I'm driving at here. So my conclusion. here it is. This is going to be a really good conclusion, really satisfying. So, Doctor Who, throughout its 55-year run, has kind of made a habit of missing potential. Series 11 didn't quite live up to what it might have been. It was fun for the bulk, but then it kind of didn't go anywhere at the end. But that is consistent with Doctor Who in general, and that's fine. Sometimes we do live up to the potential, and that's great. But for the most part, we just don't. That's okay. It's still we the bits of the ride that we enjoy. That's the main thing. If there is more that we do not enjoy than we do, well, then that's a shame. And maybe I like to think if it got to the point for me where I was enjoying less than I wasn't enjoying, I'd probably take a break and just maybe come back to it a while later and see how I felt. I don't think I'd keep on going at it if I was actively hating it. I don't quite understand the people that... It occurs to me, of course, this video is called something like, Doctor Who Missed Potential, a discussion, or something like that, right? There are going to be people that see that, and they're going to think, oh, I know exactly what this is going to be. Series 11. The whole thing's missed potential, because they had the potential to cast a man. Oh no, I've gone there now. What are we doing? Yeah, so, if you thought that was what this video was going to be about, and you wanted a video of someone really hating Series 11 and hating Jodie Whittaker, I'm sorry to disappoint you. This is the ultimate in failed potential. You wouldn't have gotten this far. I've been talking for half an hour. Even if I edit this down, this is 25 minutes at least. But no, I hope you haven't been drawn in under the expectation that that's what you're going to be getting, because obviously it's not. Personally, I really like Series 11. So this isn't one of those videos. Feel free, if you are like the really angry hashtag not my doctor type, if you really want to leave an angry comment at the bottom telling me why I'm wrong, because this is a video, apparently this is a video entirely about how much I love Series 11, that's fine, I don't mind. I've very low self-respect. I'm not going to get further upset if you hate me. But that's not what this video is about. Yeah, I'm not sure why the video's over. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you watched some of it. Do you agree with anything that I've said? Do you strongly disagree with everything that I've said? Somewhere in between? I don't know. Why not tell me? Why not tell me? Yeah, I don't do Doctor Who videos very often because I've not always got much insightful to say, but this one would sort of float into my head when I was on holiday. And I do need, on holiday, I don't know if I've brought this up, I tend to get myself a bit frazzled on holiday sometimes, so it's always nice to have something to distract myself with. I'll be back probably at some point doing another video about something else. Do you want me to do more Doctor Who videos? Who are you? Let me know in the comments below. Who are you? Did you enjoy this? I've said that already. I'm a mess. Okay, I've talked for long enough. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day. Because the 5 Who fans, they're gone now. They've dispersed, so something needs to fill that hole. Even if it's absolute garbage. We need more Doctor Who videos. Otherwise, where are all the Doctor Who? There's no Doctor Who this year. I bet you didn't know this. Of course you knew this. If you're watching a video about Doctor Who, you've probably followed Doctor Who enough to know this year there is no new Doctor Who. There's no new Doctor Who this year. So are people going to be talking about Doctor Who? Are the people that hate it going to be saying, well, it's not on now, so I guess we don't need to do that anymore? Or will they say it's not on, so we were right? I don't know. What will the people that really like it say? Will they say, we really like Doctor Who, but it's not on, let's not talk about it? I think people will still be talking about Doctor Who. I think one of two things will happen. Either people will still be talking about Doctor Who this year, or they won't. Which one is it going to be? Leave a comment below! Leave a comment below! Yeah. Bye.
Traffic on the hour.